What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over and talking about our best linebackers right now in college football 25 Ultimate Team, ranking them number 10 to number 1. Now, I do want to say all of the cards on this list are number 1 going to be extremely good, and number 2, lots of them are going to be pretty expensive. So just kind of keep that in the back of your guys' minds that, again, these are the best of the best. So like budget guys probably aren't going to be featured a whole ton here on this list. But now as I dive into this, do want to say thank you guys for all of the recent support on the channel. Really do appreciate each and every one of you guys. So we're going to start off at number 10 with Jalen Walker. Now, if you're looking for an outside linebacker to get after the quarterback, Jalen Walker is going to be an absolute stud. He is. He's going to get after the quarterback as well as anybody with the 90 speed, 93 acceleration, 93 power move, and great tackling. Problem with Jalen Walker is he really can't drop into coverage. So, again, if you want an outside linebacker that is going to get after the quarterback with the best of them, Jalen Walker is going to be a beast. 250,000 coins is kind of crazy for where we're at in my team right now. But again, Jalen Walker is a stud at getting after the quarterback. And honestly, the way I play, I like outside linebackers that can do a little bit of everything. But trust me, when I've played against Jalen Walker, he's given me issues, guys. He gets after me. He's gotten quite a few sacks on me. I really do not like playing that card whatsoever. Coming in at my number 9, I'm plugging in Clay Matthews. Way different at the right side linebacker position. Way different card. However, I think I like Clay Matthews slightly more. Only 88 speed, only 89 acceleration, good change of direction, good power move, good tackler, solid in zone coverage. There's just no real flaws in this Clay Matthews, and that's something I can really respect about the card. Again, I like outside linebackers that can do it all. I never really got the chance to use this Clay Matthews just because of a couple of things. Number 1, he was too expensive. Number 2, he just wasn't as good as I would have liked if I was going to spend 400,000 coins on the card for once upon a time. But he's 6'3", going to play great in coverage, solid change of direction. I just think Clay Matthews is the full package at the outside linebacker position. Would like to see the speed acceleration maybe be slightly higher. But again, I'm picking and choosing, and overall, I really do like Clay Matthews. Coming in at my number 8, I'm putting in Jaheim Thomas, middle linebacker from Wisconsin. Now, here's the situation. We've got so many good middle linebackers in the game right now that it's tough. But I want you guys to take a moment and look at the coverage stats of Jaheim Thomas. 6'4", first of all. He has 86 man coverage. So if, let's say you put your middle linebacker in man coverage on the running back, he's going to be great at that. 83 zone coverage, can drop into zone, be good. 84 change of direction is solid. Again, solid speed, solid acceleration, and a decent block shed. 85 block shed's not great. But if you're looking for a pure coverage middle linebacker, Thomas is an absolute beast on this game for 49,000 coins. I don't see a lot of people talking about Thomas, and honestly, I'm not sure why. Again, I really do like this card. Do I run him? No, but I think this card is an absolute beast in this game. Coming in at my number 7, another middle linebacker, TJ Daugherty. Again, between the two cards, it's just tough. Like, who do I like more? I don't know. They give you a lot of the same thing. I think Daugherty's coverage stats are just slightly better. Better change of direction, a little better coverage. Tackling wise, solid. 91 acceleration. I just think he is slightly better at that middle linebacker position. But on the flip side of things, Thomas is going to be 3 inches taller. So those are the things that you got to decide between. I really do like both of these cards at the middle linebacker position. I think both the cards are absolute beasts. Now, one thing that both Daugherty as well as Thomas are going to struggle with is getting after the quarterback, So if you run a lot of let's say mid blitz and you need guys to get after the quarterback, maybe block shed slightly better, those types of things, these cards are not going to be that good. These two middle linebackers that I've just went over are going to be best specifically coverage speaking, right? If you need guys to specifically play coverage, these are going to be some of your best middle linebackers in the entire game. Coming in at my number 6 is a card I'm currently running that has brought me a ton of success. That's Katzenmoyer. 49,000 coins it says. I don't know if all these cards are actually 49,000 coins. I want to say that they're not. I don't know though. I bet maybe they are. I don't know exactly. But he's got 89 speed, 92 acceleration, only an 83 change of direction. A 65 man coverage is pretty bad. 80 zone coverage isn't great. However, he's got the 91 block shed and he's 6'4". So the reason I like Katzenmoyer just slightly better is He's got a way better block shed than the previous two guys that I've talked about. No, he's not going to get after the quarterback at all, but he's 6'4". He's got solid enough change of direction. He, is a great tackler. He's 6'4", and his zone coverage being an 80 is good enough. Compared to the other guys we just went over, those are in the mid 80s. Sure, his man coverage stinks, but I don't play much man coverage with my middle linebacker at all anyway, so I don't really care what that man coverage does look like. Katzenmoyer is an absolute beast. He is going to play the run really well. It says on the card that he's a field general, which is probably true. He can do a little bit of everything, but he stops the run extremely well. He's 6'4", so even in zone coverage, he looks massive out there. I've had a lot of success with Katzenmoyer. He's probably going to be my middle linebacker for the next couple of weeks at least. This card is an absolute beast. Next up, at my number 5, we're plugging in Grayson Howard. A weird card in Grayson Howard, but I like him. Outside linebacker that is not going to get after the quarterback extremely well. But I want you guys to look at the coverage stats of this card. Now, I know you guys are probably looking at it and saying like, well, Ty, he's only got 88 speed. But I want you guys to think about who this guy looks like that I'll talk about here in a little bit. 88 speed, 87 acceleration, 92 block shed, good change of direction, good man coverage, good zone coverage. To me, he looks awfully similar to an outside linebacker that I used to run in Colin Oliver. Now, difference is Colin Oliver used to get after the quarterback a little bit better, didn't have as good a change of direction, but though the similarities are there. Going to play great coverage, not necessarily the fastest. The thing about Grayson Howard is he's not going to get after the quarterback well. However, if you drop into coverage with your outside linebackers, give me Grayson Howard over anybody else. Nearly at the outside linebacker position. Give me him over anybody else. If you play coverage, I like him as an outside linebacker literally over anybody else. So that's my opinion on Grayson Howard. If you guys have this card, let me know if you like him because I've actually never used him. But when I'm looking at this card, his block shed's perfect. So you know what? Against the run, he's fantastic. His zone coverage is fantastic. His change of direction is perfect. The more I look at Grayson Howard, the more I'm like, man, I need to pick him up for my squad. At my number 4, we're plugging in Manti Te'o. Cardo, initially when I was doing this, I'm like, I don't even know if he makes my list, but as I do things, I'm like, yeah, he absolutely does. 90 speed acceleration, 86 change of direction. Block shed's not great. That is something that does concern me, but the 85 zone coverage is definitely outstanding. I think with his speed, you've got to put Manti Te'o up here, and it's just sad that we've now got some other linebackers in the game that are just so much better. But I think Manti Te'o definitely deserves people's respect. And LTD, obviously, he can now go for under 225. I still believe quick selling for 175. So if you ever can get him for like 180 or something, obviously I'd buy him. I don't know why anybody would list him for that, but at the end of the day, Manti Te'o is going to be a beast of a card in this game. When he first came out, I thought about getting him. I'm glad I didn't just because of where the market's at right now, but Manti Te'o is really good. Problem is, there's just a cheaper middle linebacker that is better. At my number 3, we're plugging in Kyle Kennard. I will hype this card up until I can't anymore. Number 1, I want to talk about how he's cheap. Kyle Kennard is super cheap in this game. And number 2, he is going to get after the quarterback better than any other outside linebacker in this game. So it's really a difficult situation because if you run Kyle Kennard, you got to know what the card is good at. You don't want to run this card and have him, dropping into coverage every play. He can occasionally drop into coverage, zone coverage, because he is 6'5", but I wouldn't have it be like every play. But as far as getting after the quarterback, 89 speed, 92 acceleration, great finesse move, solid power move, just overall is an absolute beast. So if you have him on a blitz every play, there's going to be no better outside linebacker than Kyle Kennard in the entire game. And again, I will hype this card up until I can't anymore because if you do use outside linebackers that get after the quarterback, there's not going to be many better than Kyle Kennard. This card definitely is going to put some pressure on your opposition and going to be an absolute stud for you guys. At my number 2, we're plugging in the GOAT, Paul Posluszny. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce his name, but I want to spend some time talking about this card. Number 1, he's not overly expensive. Number 2, he's incredibly good. 91 speed, 93 acceleration, good block shed, great in zone coverage. But the last thing I want to say is this. For an LTD that you can quick sell for 175, if you have the coins to get this card, I honestly think it's worth getting this card. And that's crazy, but if you can get him for, let's say, like 198, and if he does quick sell for 175, which I still believe that these LTDs do, I don't know how you can go wrong with this card because at the end of the day, sure, if he plays for you for a couple of weeks and you lose 20,000 coins in the card, Who cares? But remember, we just saw an overall bump. So I could see a couple of weeks from now this card being 300 to 350 as far as how much he's gonna go for. So that's where I'm at with this card. I like this card. The only problem that I see with this card is we've just got another better middle linebacker in the game. That's the only issue with him. But 90 zone coverage, great speed, good acceleration, great tackler. He's not going to get after the quarterback extremely well, but everything else on the field, Paul is going to do at an elite level. The problem is he's just not better than Danny Stutzman. He's not. This Danny Stutzman card is your best middle linebacker in the entire game. There's no ifs, there's no ands, there's no buts about it. 93 speed, 94 acceleration, comes with 95 tackling, 88 block shed, only an 82 zone coverage. And I think that's what really gets people is with Ty, you know, as his zone coverage has changed, the direction isn't as good. That is all true. But remember, the card's got 93 speed with 94 acceleration. If somebody has 93 speed, they can make up for a lot of bad reads. They can make up for a lot of things on the field. And so when I'm looking at Danny Stutzman, that's why I believe he is absolutely your best linebacker in the game. And I don't even think it's particularly close. I think the difference between Stutzman and Paul is pretty large. So that's why for me, Danny Stutzman is coming in as my best overall linebacker right now on this game. Now you guys are going to see there's going to be a lot of cards that missed out on this linebacker list that are really solid. Like even Jay Higgins can play, Rodriguez can play, Kyle Lewis is on my team. These cards can play, but it just comes down to the fact that guess what, guys? There are better overall cards at this stage in the game. So I hope you guys understand why a card didn't probably make the list. That is going to wrap it up for me, guys. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.